Good day to those joining from daylight hours, and good evening to those tuning in from the night. Here is today's World News Update for June 4th, 2025. Global Headlines 1. Ukraine strikes strategic. Russian bridge Ukrainian forces have successfully targeted and severely damaged a critical bridge linking Russia to occupied territories in eastern Ukraine. The bridge, spanning the Siversky Donets River, serves as a vital supply route for Russian military forces. The attack involved precision-guided missiles and drones, resulting in significant damage to the infrastructure and disrupting Russian supply lines. US doubles tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. The United States has announced a significant increase in tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, doubling the rate to 50%. This move targets countries accused of unfair trade practices, sparking concerns about rising tensions in global trade and possible economic fallout, especially with close partners like Canada. Canada battles unprecedented wildfires. Canada is grappling with an unprecedented wildfire crisis, with over 200 active fires, many out of control. Mandatory evacuations have been ordered in several provinces, and the heavy smoke is severely affecting air quality across parts of the US Midwest and even reaching Europe. Commemorating Tiananmen, 36 years later, on the 36th anniversary of the Tiananmen Square crackdown, Taiwan and the United States have reaffirmed their commitment to remembering the victims and promoting human rights. Meanwhile, Hong Kong faces tightened security around commemorations as Beijing continues to suppress public acknowledgement of the events. Reuters.com 5. Japan's Marine Parade marks World Expo 2025 launch. Japan kicked off its World Expo 2025 celebrations with a spectacular marine parade in Osaka Bay. Approximately 50 vessels participated in the procession near Yumeshima Island, the site of the upcoming expo. The event highlighted Japan's rich maritime heritage and underscored the nation's readiness to host visitors from around the world for this major global event scheduled later this year. NATO summit set for The Hague. NATO leaders are preparing to convene in The Hague from June 24th to 26th for the 2025 summit. Key topics will include defense funding, expanding membership, and strengthening the alliance's capacity to address evolving global threats. This summit will be the first held in the Netherlands, marking a significant moment for the alliance amid ongoing geopolitical tensions worldwide. Technology and environment updates. Samsung unveiled its latest Ultra series smartphones, boasting enhanced features such as larger displays and superior cameras. Microchip Technology announced it will present cutting-edge embedded control innovations at the upcoming Bank of America Global Technology Conference. World Environment Day on June 5th will focus on promoting sustainable development and urgent climate action worldwide. India's Axiom 4 mission to the International Space Station, originally scheduled for June 8th, has been postponed to June 10th, reflecting the country's expanding role in international space exploration. Middle East Focus 1. IDF strikes Syrian regime weapons following rocket barrage. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, have conducted airstrikes on Syrian regime weapons depots in response to a rocket barrage launched from Syria. The rockets were claimed by a Palestinian faction in Syria, calling itself the Mata Muhammad al-Daif Brigades. The IDF's retaliatory strikes targeted military infrastructure in Syria, raising concerns about escalating tensions in the region. jpost.com +jpost.com+12. Saudi Arabia warns Iran over nuclear deal. Saudi Arabia has reportedly warned Iran to reach a nuclear deal with the United States or risk an Israeli military strike. Saudi Defense Minister Prince Khalid bin Salman delivered this message during a visit to Tehran, urging Iran to take President Trump's offer seriously. The warning underscores the urgency of reaching a nuclear agreement to avoid further regional instability. Reuters.com+1 APnews.com+13. Middle East tourism boom. Countries in the Middle East, including Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Turkey, Egypt, Oman, Kuwait, UAE, and Jordan, are experiencing a tourism boom. In 2024 and early 2025, these nations broke records, launched mega-projects, opened new airports, and welcomed millions of visitors. The region is set to become a $350 billion tourism powerhouse by the end of the decade, driven by investments in infrastructure and cultural attractions. Travelandtourworld.com. For Sudan, war 2 years on. More than 2 years into Sudan's devastating war between the Sudanese Armed Forces, SAF, and the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, recent developments have significantly changed the landscape. In March 2025, the SAF recaptured the presidential palace in Khartoum, a strategic victory that highlights the shifting dynamics of power within the capital. At the same time, the RSF's establishment of a rival government of peace and unity in Nairobi raises concerns regarding legitimacy, governance, and the potential for international recognition. Amid these power shifts, the humanitarian crisis has worsened, with over 30 million people, more than half of them children, in urgent need of aid and famine looming over multiple regions. The war has drawn in global actors, from Russia's Red Sea ambitions to increasing involvement by Iran, Egypt, and Gulf states. Sudan has become an increasingly contested geopolitical landscape with far-reaching implications. maycouncil.org. South Africa, arms deal, graft, charges former. South African President Jacob Zuma has lost his bid to have corruption charges dismissed in the long-running arms deal case. The Pietermaritzburg High Court ruled on June 3, 2025, that the trial will proceed, rejecting arguments from Zuma and French defense company Thales that the deaths of 2 key witnesses had compromised their right to a fair trial. Zuma and Thales face multiple charges including fraud, corruption, racketeering, and money laundering related to a 1999 defense procurement deal valued at approximately $30 billion, about $2 billion USD. The case has been postponed to December 4, 2025, when the state will apply for the trial to proceed, regardless of any appeals launched by either party. Tensions are mounting once again in the Horn of Africa. Deep beneath the surface of official diplomacy, a dangerous alignment is reportedly taking shape. Sources suggest that a clandestine alliance called Northern Alliance is forming, one that includes a breakaway faction of the Tigray People's Liberation Front, elements of the Amhara militia, known as Fano, and the government of Eritrea. Their target? Ethiopia's ruling Prosperity Party and its leader, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. These groups, historically at odds, appear to have found common ground in their shared opposition to Abiy's federal government. In Tigray, the political crisis has reached a boiling point. The faction led by Debretsion Gebremichael has seized control of key cities in defiance of the interim leadership, fueling instability across the north. Meanwhile, in the Amhara region, the fragmented Fano militia has unified under the Amhara Fano National Force, signaling a new phase of coordinated resistance. The group, once loosely organized, now moves with structure and intent. Across the border, Eritrea is playing a familiar game. President Isaias Afwerki's regime is accused of extending quiet support to these opposition elements, reportedly hosting or facilitating high-level discussions aimed at toppling Ethiopia's current leadership. If true, this represents more than internal rebellion. It marks the return of old hostilities, rearmed and reconfigured. A regional realignment is underway. one that could redraw the fault lines of power in the Horn of Africa. The government in Addis Ababa remains silent for now. But for Ethiopia, a nation still healing from years of war, the spectre of coordinated insurgency could once again plunge the country into a chapter of darkness it had hoped to leave behind. Technology and environment updates. Samsung unveiled its latest Ultra series smartphones, boasting enhanced features such as larger displays and superior cameras. Microchip Technology announced it will present cutting-edge embedded control innovations at the upcoming Bank of America Global Technology Conference. World Environment Day on June 5th will focus on promoting sustainable development and urgent climate action worldwide. India's Axiom 4 mission to the International Space Station, originally scheduled for June 8th, has been postponed to June 10th, reflecting the country's expanding role in international space exploration.